Welcome back to Workout Wisconsin. I'm Reggie Davis here on location at Functional Integrated Training. Back here again with the owner, Jared, and also one of his assistants here, Anna. We're going to do a demonstration segment right now. Jared's going to go ahead and demonstrate some of the workouts that they do here at Functional Integrative Training. So, Jared, why don't you go ahead and teach us some of the stuff that you guys do here.
Awesome. So we talk a lot about simple things done savagely well, and we kind of focus on 6 main things: squatting, hip hinging or deadlifting, pushing and pulling, carrying, and then lunging or split squatting. And I want to focus on split squats today because we have seen a lot of people do lunges and split squats, and many people do them, but they don't do them well. So for example, one thing Anna's going to demonstrate is someone who's going to lunge or split squat and go too far forward and then come back out. Right? We see this issue all the time. People complain of knee pain with this when they do this. All right. Other things we'll see, sometimes they'll go down and their torso will actually collapse as they come back up. So they'll come up, torso will come down. It will not be very strong or stable through the midsection. Okay, and finally, I'll have Anna kind of turn towards the camera a little bit. She will demonstrate the knees kind of caving in and collapsing. So she'll go down, knees will cave in, collapse, come back out, hard on the knees, and also potentially causing injury. All right, so when we teach a split squat, we'll have an athlete actually go down to one knee. This is what we call half kneeling. And then Anna will get into what we call 90-90 position. So 90-90 position, the front leg, the shin bone and then the thigh bone are 90 degrees, as well as the same thing for the back leg. Okay, so once she's in position, we know she's in a good position. She's going to be nice and tall and stable through her torso. We're going to have her dig her back toe into the ground. Okay, that's going to give her some stability. We're going to have her squeeze the back leg butt cheek, brace the core, and then we're going to tell her, hey, you got 2 panes of glass right here. We want you to come straight up those panes of glass. Go ahead and do that. Awesome. Go back down.
So Jared, so when I'm looking at this and I see, when she was leaning forward, which was incorrectly, and then she was, or the knee was dropped at a certain position, what kind of injuries can result in incorrect weightlifting?
So ultimately with this kind of stuff, most of the time people are going to end up where they're in pain or they're just not feeling like they're getting a lot out of it, right? And that's most of the time what happens. Now, worst case scenario, they actually get injured. They have like a significant like ACL tear or something like that. But more often than not, it's more about they don't get what they want out of the exercise, or this is easy for me and that kind of stuff. We want to make sure they're doing it absolutely 100% correctly, because if they do, all the muscles that are involved are working. If they're not, they're banging and smashing their joints, and that's going to cause over time probably arthritis, inflammation, and ultimately lead to pain, lead to injury, and lead to not working out. And that's what we don't want.
So pretty much what Jared is trying to say is if you're doing your workouts incorrectly, you will notice, because there'll be no gains and a lot of pain, correct?
Absolutely.
So, and then what else do you have to show us as well too when it comes to some of the workouts that...
So we'll have Anna stand back up, because another one that we see a lot is a hip hinge or a deadlift done improperly. And partially it's because people learn how to squat, but they do not learn how to hip hinge. So when they're doing a hip hinge, a lot of times what will happen is their knees will come forward when they go down. So go ahead and go down, kind of like you're going to do a squat. Right. So come on back up. So a hip hinge to us is primarily driven by the hamstrings and glutes. So what we want is what's called a vertical shin. So what we'll tell our athletes is we'll tell them to bend their knees a little bit and then push their butt back to the wall. When they do that, what happens, the butt goes back, right? The torso comes forward. They feel a little uncomfortable with that because they feel like their back is rounded. But ultimately you can see she's got a really straight line right here, a straight line to the knee, and a straight line to the ground. This is ideal for a hip hinge. And then from there she's going to push her hips back through to standing. So that's a hip hinge, and that's people struggle with that a lot of times. And ultimately, if you're trying to bend over and pick something up, you should probably be hip hinging, not necessarily squatting. So we want a hip hinge to pick something up off the floor. That's why they call it a deadlift or a hip hinge. So Andy did a great job with that. Like I said, we see a lot of times people's knees come forward, and that's where, again, they might feel low back pressure or knee pain.
So just remember, according to Jared, and especially with all kinds of working out, that any kind of pain resulted in what you are doing most likely is done incorrectly.
Right.
So make sure that you do all your workouts correctly, and also make sure you check out Jared here at Functional Integrative Training. I'm Reggie Davis. This is Workout Wisconsin, right here on channel 57, and we'll be right back.